Which one is this?
Oh, sorry, this is organisation and development.
I would say probably 3.
Okay, yep, where we go? Around the group?
4.
Yep.
4.
Yep.
3.
Yep.
3.
Yep.
4.
Yep.
I had 1 tick in the 5 to 6, 1 tick in the 3 to 4, and 1 tick in the 2.
So you're a 4? Yep.
Yeah, I was about to say actually.
Yeah, interesting, hey? Yep.
3.
3. Okay. So we're evenly split, aren't we? So what some of us are doing is we're saying, well, it's actually more insufficient than adequate. Kind of. Is that not
It's
right?
suitable
Well,
and
it's
inconsistent.
Oh, sorry, you're still in that range.
But
So
everybody's in a suitable.
1 mark difference, who cares? Sort of thing. And I would agree entirely. I actually had 4. But 3 or 4. That's awesome. This is proof the ICGs actually work. So whether you said 3 or 4 will be the conversation you have, I suppose, in your moderation meetings. And why you said a 3 versus a 4. And that's probably where your conversation needs to sit. What tips you to 4? And it's going to come to your ticks.
That's what I find hard though, because I was literally talking to Lauren before. I was like, oh, I gave it this, but I don't know how to justify it.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do that in the moderation meeting, because I honestly, like, I just thought that it suited a 4.
I found that one the hardest to mark was the organisation development for me. I was like, because I'm going back and forth
Same.
and changing it around.
Yeah.
And you had the thesis down there instead of up high, but it was there. So what do you do with that?
How do you justify it?
Look, if you look at the actual descriptors, it says suitable use of the patterns and conventions of an article and the role of the writer to achieve a particular purpose. So there are a couple of things here. Is the writer achieving the purpose of arguing the idea that totalitarianism as a representation in those 2 texts are still relevant today? Does the student achieve the purpose? We're all saying that they do, but how strongly is that achieved? Is it worthy of the 3 or is it worthy of the 4? Or where is that weakness that is encouraging you to choose the 3? Let's have a look at the next one. Or, if you don't agree with suitable, you're saying it's inconsistent use of the patterns and conventions of an essay to achieve a particular purpose and the role of the writer established.
See, I feel like they're very wordy. That's why I can't quite grasp it.
But there are subtle differences. When you look at suitable use of the patterns and conventions of an article and the role of the writer to achieve a particular purpose, that means they're doing what they need to do and they are establishing a role with the audience and they're achieving their purpose at a suitable level. But when you drop down to inconsistent, some changes occur in the descriptor. You go from suitable to inconsistent, so you're saying that the patterns and conventions of an essay are inconsistent. Not only that, the role of the writer is established. They are achieving a particular. They are achieving a particular purpose. But is it inconsistent? Because if you're placing a tick in inconsistent, you're saying it's more inconsistent than suitable. And for some of us, maybe that's where we're getting the 3 and the 4. We're saying that it's actually more inconsistent than suitable. Did anyone tick inconsistent in that one? Is that the one where people were ticking as inconsistent?
Which one?
To get the 3? The very first descriptor?
Yes. Oh,
No.
no.
So if you're unhappy with the patterns and conventions, you're saying that it really wasn't suitable. And that's what you're going to have to defend. Why is it not suitable? What makes it? I think there are inconsistencies there, don't get me wrong. But I think that if you wrote out all the patterns and conventions of an online column, you'd see that they were there. You know, the short sentences, the short paragraphs, you've got the byline, you've got the title, you've got it broken up into columns. It is organised, there's a beginning and an end. Let's have a look at the next one down now. The next descriptor is suitable selection and adequate synthesis of subject matter to support perspectives. So we've either ticked there. Or we're ticking narrow selection of subject matter to support perspectives. Did anyone tick narrow selection of subject matter to support perspectives? Our Zoomers, did any of you?
No.
Okay, neither, and I really don't think that's a match at all. So I would agree with you. The student is actually selecting quite well from the two texts. There are some great quotes that is being used to support their perspectives. So we're all in agreement on that one. So where's that difference coming in? Let's have a look at the next descriptor. Suitable organisation, sequencing of subject matter. So it's organised and sequenced, including suitable use of cohesive devices to emphasise ideas and connect parts of a text, or inconsistent organisation and sequencing of subject matter and some use of cohesive devices to connect parts of text. Is that where? That's probably where. And yeah. Zoomers agree?
Yeah.
So some of you, yeah, go on.
I was just saying, in my pick of the two.
Because I think we can all agree that there is some inconsistency there, and there's also some suitability there.
Yeah.
And you've got to back yourself. You've got to say, well, okay, which one am I choosing?
Cohesive devices really don't. Yeah.
And yet, there's cohesion like until within 30 seconds. All also uses. There is no justice, which reminds us. Brainwashing is there. Anyway, just like young Sue, Winston eventually loves Big Brother. There are actually lots of cohesive ties in there. Whilst there might be some inconsistency, is it more suitable or is it more inconsistent? I'd actually probably flick into the more suitable. The more I read it and the more I look for cohesive to support perspectives.
Yeah, I think the reason why I ticked inconsistent was more because it just didn't feel like it was flowing.
Yes.
Well, even though it has anyway and boulevard, I'm like that.
But
For
even
me,
that-
that's
yeah.
not like a link, like it's got to be within
Yeah.
the two of them, and it keeps on going and flowing. That's why I found it inconsistent.
Yeah, okay.
It was like he tried, but then it didn't like.
And
Does-
some of those use of cohesive ties are there, but they don't actually connect to the ideas in the text. So you talk about until, it's Orwell's example, he uses Orwell's example of hate week, until Winston does something else. Until, but the use of the cohesive ties, I would argue, doesn't actually connect the ideas in a clear, cohesive sequence.
It does in the next paragraph, because it says, until within 30 seconds there's this reference to the hideous ecstasy of fear, and then the next paragraph says it's strong brainwashing that is barred. So it doesn't happen in that paragraph, I agree. So that might be a little bit problematic, but I would say, does the student actually achieve the purpose? Because everything, you're right, everything comes back to achieving the purpose. And I'm not here to convince you one way or the other, but this is what you're going to do in your group, in your groups. You're going to say, well, I agree there's inconsistency, but I also agree there's suitable. Is it 3/4 suitable and 1/4? What is it?
Inconsistent.
Thank you, inconsistent?
Because
Or
if
is it
that's the
50-50?
case, then-
What are you going to do if it's 50-50? What if it's 50% suitable, 50%?
Vote.
Paper.
Your second opinion?
You
Go back
could.
to the evidence.
Go back to the evidence. And if you still go back to the evidence and it's 50-50, are you this person who's going to give students the most marks you can give or the least marks you can give?
Yeah.
The most marks you can give.
To succeed.
Yeah. So yes, so once again, we're pretty much so close. It's extraordinary, actually. And then we've got textual features. Okay, our Zoomers, what did you choose?
I did.
3?
Yeah. I did 3.
3. Okay, where do you go?
3.
3.
4.
4.
Oh, I was a 2.
You're 2. Okay, that's interesting. Let's hold that number.
Yeah, we think we're a bit harsh with 2.
Yeah, okay.
I'm that way as well.
So you're the grammar Nazi. Kindred spirits with me, and this is fantastic learning.
Lauren, she gave a 4, so like,
Nice.
yeah, she's being nice.
I know who I tend to go with.
I did too.
Oh my god, what did you get?
I got a 3, but I was borderline 2 because I'm a grammar, I like punctuation and grammar.
I know what you're going to say.
Really,
I think-
What did I say?
What are you going to say?
Well, you just told me you know.
I thought you might go too.
No, I went 3.
No, it was not much of a no.
What did you
I
guys
was saying borderline.
I couldn't decide between 3 or 4.
Oh, okay.
I was really struggling, and because we wanted to call the activity to an end, you know what? I had the 3 ticks in suitable, and then I went, okay, oh, hang on, no, sorry, textual features. I had 3 circled and I rubbed it out. I circled 4, then I rubbed that out. Then I went back to 3 and I thought, okay, where am I putting my ticks? And in the end, I think language choices vary in suitability. Actually, I think I did end up with 3 because I ticked the language choices vary in suitability in the end because there was so many things like Winston knows this isn't true, but caves. It's mean. It's sad. It's I mean, there was some good stuff there as well. Oh yeah, totalitarian is bad. I had.
They did try for some high modality in there.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
Like, he used the word bad and horrible and a mess and, like, what was another one?
Yeah.
He used the word bad a lot.
Yes.
Brutality is mean.
Yes.
Like, just reading that, I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
sort of
okay.
death is the leading cause of fatalities, yeah?
Yeah.
So that's the sort of,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're going to see a lot worse than that, and you're going to see sentences that
And
don't
I'll-
even make sense.
And then this will be buffed up.
Sentences that just won't make
Yeah.
sense.
But not many, right?
Few. There were a
Enough
few
is
for me to
okay. But when you look at it on balance, you know, when you're doing the best fit, you have to say if you if you added all the sentences up that made sense,
It would probably,
it would be more. It would be more that made sense. But language choices, I think, might be a different matter, and that's where I was tempted to go with
Things think in ways.
yes.
People think in ways.
Yeah, what's that? Yeah.
How and why.
Yeah. So, so did people sort of say that they were happy with suitable use of a range of mostly grammatical? And I actually underlined mostly. Can you see how mostly is in that
Yeah.
second descriptor?
Now that you've said that out loud, I'm thinking maybe I should have ticked suitable for that.
Yeah. Because they don't have to be accurate to get that.
Yeah, because
That
that was
mark?
inconsistent for me because I was like, oh, this is grading on me.
Yes.
But if it's mostly, then like if you look at it in a holistic kind of way, then yeah.
You can see where you could defend that judgment.
Probably 50-50, but if you were saying before, if you wanted to give them that little mark.
Yeah. And really it's about, does the evidence allow you to award that mark? And if the evidence allows you to award that mark and you can defend it, then you'd give it. And it is mostly grammatically accurate, and it does achieve particular purpose. We actually established that right at the outset. And then the next descriptor is suitable use of written features including conventional spelling and punctuation and complementary features if appropriate to achieve purposes. And some of you might have wanted to have gone 3 there as well. But at the end of the day, no matter where you ticked, whether you ticked the descriptor below for language choices or grammar and language structures, you're still sitting on a 3. So even actually talking it through with you, I would happily sit with a 3.
What's the pass mark? What do they need for a pass?
Oh, that's a very, very good question.
Because like I would pass him, so if it meant that I gave him a 10 out of 25 and that didn't pass him.
We don't
then-
talk about passes.
Really? Because I wouldn't want him to fail because this is like passable. This is passable.
And wouldn't you say that it's a 10 is passing?
Out of 25? No.
Numerically, you're talking about.
Yeah, because
But you're looking-
12 and a half would be a pass.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
these numbers are different to, say like a 5 isn't just, that's the bare minimum. Now it's like a 3 would kind of equate to what it used to be.
so if all your qualifiers are suitable, adequate, suitable, you're saying the student has done the job. They've achieved their purpose. And if that comes out of a 10, then that comes out at a 10. So we have to shift our mindset from a pass being 12 and a half out of 25.
Right.
Because that's not how these ISMGs work.
But then why even have a numerical value for anything?
Oh, there's a deep philosophical question. So late in the
Like
day.
anything and not just like why have that numerical value then? And why have that mark 125?
Because all of this is an artificial construct. We have just created it to achieve a purpose. And you're right, it's about getting a number for ATAR. So 25%, 25%, 25, 25%. Who said that any assessment instrument has to be out of 25? Like they're artificial constructs. But what is really important is that you're making a match to the qualifier. And if those qualifiers, if you're ticking suitable, student has done their job, they have not, I won't use the word pass or fail, but they have done what they need to do.
Fulfill the requirements of the task.
Yes, they do the syllabus requirements of the task. I know, right? So, eventually as time goes by, those numbers will take on a different meaning to us. At the moment, we're coming to those numbers with fixed experiences and perceptions. And that number in a different syllabus might mean something different as well. So think qualifiers, it's all about the qualifiers because you're matching to the qualifiers and the mark falls out of that, whatever that means.
I actually like, sorry, just on another note, I like the way you've actually put the 3 on the one piece of paper. This made my life so much easier.
Yeah, I agree.
Because otherwise we would have had 3 different pieces of paper having to, and then it like flusters me because I'm trying to like look through different, like, I like this.
Thank you for that feedback because it wasn't deliberate, but I found the same thing. And that's sometimes where the way you work can accidentally come out of a fluke like that. Because I would be happy to mark like that.
Yeah. I know some people might think it's a little bit too small and like I wouldn't be able to read that unless I had my glasses on. Thank goodness I have my glasses on. But like.
And the more you know the ISMGs, the less you need the fine print anyway, even though you should always check it for those words like mostly accurate.
Yeah.
We're done for the day. Thank you everyone for coming and being such awesome participants.
Is this the last time we see you?
Yes, until we're supposed to, no, we've got
Online
we've got online, I don't know, just stay posted because if we can meet face to face, I'd like to meet face to face.
Could we also potentially get an assessment extension on the A1?
Yeah, we're disrupted because coronavirus.
We have a 2-week break. Please.
Yes.
Send an email to Malachi.
But for future we can log in with the Zoom.